Claudia Fracchiolla.
Okay, so this shirt is to remind all of us that if we don't like it, it will be over soon. I actually have a emergency exit act that if I start tap dancing out, it's because I forgot everything and it's a cue for Enya to come back to the stage. Because I'll tell you, I hate the spotlight. Yeah, I know. In reality is if you look at a definition of an introverted, there's a picture of me. Which makes it super ironic, the fact that I am here, and even more when I tell you what my job title is. Wait for it. Head of Public Engagement. And if you don't know what that is, this is public engagement. So how on earth did I get here? So I really didn't know that I was an introverted until a few years ago that I read a book, Quiet, by Susan Cain. And if you are or know somebody that is an introvert, 100% recommended. It changed my life. I grew up in a family of extroverted and in an extroverted culture. If I ask you, what are classical stereotypes that you can think of when you hear the word Latinx? Loud, party, flashy. So I relate to Ellie's points about not belonging to your culture or your family. In fact, if there was a competition about people who talk the most, my family members would be among the top 10 contenders. My parents' arguments are about who is sharing the spotlight and who gets to tell more of the story. So I clearly was not comfortable around my family and that feel of belonging. But nowadays, every time I am doing research, presenting some research or writing a paper, I like to tell a little bit about myself and my background in the paper. And that sounds counterintuitive because I just went on a whole rant about why I hate the spotlight and I'm an introverted. But the thing is that that's actually good research practice. And if there are social scientists out there, probably know what I'm talking about. But the thing is that even if you are doing math or physics research, we are humans, right? Yeah, I know there's people that makes you question that, but whatever we do, whatever research we choose to do, how we choose to do it, how we interpret it, and how we present it, is always going to be influenced by the way we think and our backgrounds and our stories. So when you're doing that and you're telling a little bit of the story in your research, you're actually telling your audience what implicit bias you might be putting in. And I lost, what I was going with this was, so my parents. So I've always been a geek and a nerd, as you can see. And it's okay, I'm super proud of it. I claim it as my secret superpower. But anyway, when I was little, I blame my dad for making me a scientist because, and I apologize for the image that I'm about to put in your head. I used to run to my dad's bathroom to steal the social science magazines that he had in it. So sorry about that. But anyway, I love what I was reading. I didn't get what I was reading at all, but I was still fascinated by it. And so I think it was about 12 years old when I decided I was going to be an astrophysicist. That dream got crushed pretty early on because when I was about 15, I learned the spacesuits were only designed for a certain height range, which you can imagine I did not fit the profile. That only changed a few years ago, by the way. But anyway, high school physics didn't detract me from still wanting to do some science, which I know is shocking because physics and math in high school is terrible. But so I went to college wanting to do some science things, but I wasn't sure about what that thing was going to be. And on the first year of college, you have to decide which major you're going to choose. And so all the departments do what they call open houses, right? And so I remember very clearly as I was walking around the stalls, trying not to get too close so I wouldn't encourage people to talk to me. And as I'm turning the corner, I get to the physics exhibit. And unlike the perfect put together desk with pamphlets and people that look very eloquent there, it's chaos. There's all these bunch of toys, and there's just like physics students very excited explaining to people this phenomena that they were observing, most of them not making eye contact. And that's when I was like, I had these realizations like, I found my people. This is me. I know it fits this stereotype of physicists being socially awkward, but so was I. And so that's how I decided, okay, I'm gonna do physics. And even nowadays, I don't know if you've ever walked into a physics building. They are universally ugly. And they have this particular smell of like old rust machine. But I walk in and it's home. Like, that's where I feel comfortable with. So that's how my physics career started. And I did become an astrophysicist, even though I knew that I wasn't gonna make it outside of the Earth atmosphere. Although nowadays with Elon Musk and the Billionaires Club making safe space travel accessible to people, and the Hitchhiker's Guide might make it to be part of the Lonely Planet's travel guide. Some people might realize that dream, but it wasn't for me anyway. So yeah, at some point in most of our lives, we hit that moment when, imposter syndrome gets in. Ellie talked about that. For me, it was grad school. I got to the point where I was like, what was I thinking? What am I doing here? And then one day, I got invited to represent the physics department, the Latina in me. And I got to the school, and there was all these kids, and I started talking about physics and showing these experiments. And the kids thought that I was like the smartest and coolest person on earth. And I was like, hey, yeah, I got a hook. So when I went into my postdoc, I decided to change astroparticle physics for trying to understand how do we define identity and become like that moment that tells you, oh, I am a physicist, and especially in like unstructured, informal spaces. And that's how I became perceived as an expert on public engagement from the safety net of my research desk. Although, to be fair, I've had some public engagement experience, but the experience that I had, it was like, perfectly choreographed social interactions. Like, you design the activity, you know what you're gonna say, you know what people are gonna think and what are the questions and reactions that you could have. So like, it's okay because, you're planning it ahead of time. But anyway, I think that me being here, it's part of trying to sort out that new imposter syndrome voice that it says like, oh, you're not really doing engagement with the public. But also what Enya said at the beginning, she really coerced me to do this. So anyway, today on my job, what I do is I actually encourage physicists, socially awkward physicists, to do public engagement. And I I hope that I was able to represent some of the introverted people out there and, some of the women in science. And if you did not like it, it's okay. I was so scared today that I'm not doing this again, but I will be pushing people to do it again. So thank you, and don't forget your towel. I did today, so.